Wow, definitely one of the best scenery on trail. It's again pretty slow going, and it's really not an easy stretch. Pretty rough now. Such an epic view. It's hard work, really hard work. It's very rough. This place is spectacular.
The Cape Wrath Trail has a way of rewarding you for every hard-earned mile. This week's stretch of the trail asked more of us than any other. It brought the biggest climb of the journey and some of the roughest terrain we'd faced, but also some of the most spectacular scenery on the entire trail. With Cape Wrath getting ever closer, this would be our last big mountain crossing before the landscape began to change. If you're new here, hi, I'm Ellie. I'm a long-distance hiker and backpacker. And this is Otto, my best friend and hiking buddy. Together we're walking 230 miles through the Scottish Highlands on the Cape Wrath Trail. Welcome to part 7 of our adventure.
Good morning, everyone. It's day 16 on the Cape Wrath Trail. Otto and I set off from Inchnadamph a little while ago, about 1.5 hours I think. We had a really good night. It's a really nice place. I had some food. They have a great drying room. It was so hot in there. I could try all my stuff, and I had breakfast this morning there as well, and a coffee. Just met another Cape Wrath hiker, which is nice to have a bit of company, especially because today is supposed to be quite tough and remote, I think, from the terrain. As you can see, it looks almost like an alpine scenery up here. We're on our first climb up to the village, which I think is almost at 600 meters. So far it's been on a pretty good path. I think it's going to get rougher on our descent from the village. From what I read in the guidebook, the stage today is supposed to be one of the hardest. I think there's almost 1,000 meters of elevation, over 19 kilometers. But there are two Bothys. The first one, Glendhu, after I think 12 kilometers, which will hopefully be our spot for a lunch break. And then there's another one, Glendhu, I think 7 kilometers further, so around 19-20 kilometers, which would be great to spend the night there. That's my goal, but yeah, it's probably going to be a bit of a tough day. The weather so far is a bit mixed. It's not too bad, but it was supposed to be quite dry and sunny, and it rained quite a bit this morning, but at least no torrential rain. And yeah, really excited for the day. It's so nice to slowly get closer to the finish line, and yeah, let's go. We're almost at now, as you can see. It's getting a bit rougher now.
This was one of those moments that's difficult to put into words. Looking back now, this is probably the view that felt the most special from the entire trail. There was something about the grey skies and the rugged beauty of the landscape that just hit me. It felt like standing at the edge of the world, a place so remote and untouched that it almost didn't feel real. The harshness of the terrain was intimidating. The vast mountains and seemingly endless miles of wilderness felt almost overwhelming. But that was also the magic of it. In that same remoteness came an incredible sense of freedom, the feeling of being completely immersed in nature, miles from the rest of the world. Just us, the landscape, and the elements. For me, this was the Cape Wrath Trail in its purest form.
A sideways sleet shower. It's pretty cold now and the wind feels almost like winter again. Ooh. It's again pretty slow going as expected. Very boggy descent, but there is a bit of a path, which is nice. Otto, as always, walking ahead. It's very rough and very hard going, very boggy, but the view is incredibly. Look at that, that's a sea loch down there, and the waterfalls over 200 meters high. This is really as rough and as remote as it gets, I feel like, on the Cape Wrath Trail. I don't know. This stretch in particular feels so wild and rough with the rock formations and just this feeling of, yeah, there's just nothing, just boggy ground, streams, bit of grass, and then rocks and lochs. Just feels so remote, so rough. It's crazy. Wow. But as the guidebook said, it's really not an easy stretch. It's almost 2 p.m. already, so I've been walking for 5 hours with only one short break, and I think we barely covered 12 kilometers, which is crazy. But the scenery just spectacular today. Wow, look at that, this is a sea loch. So beautiful. Wow, the colors are stunning. Hours and 13 kilometers in, and we've almost made it to Glendhu Bothy, which is, as I said, the first of 2 Bothys on today's stretch. And the plan is to go there for a longer break, to have a coffee, have some proper food. It's hard work, it's really hard work. I think our hardest day since the section across Neustadt, for sure. Wow, this is where we came over, and then all along here. Oh, it's incredibly beautiful. Da 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 da! This is Glendhu. It really is about time. I probably should have stopped earlier, but I don't know if you can relate, but in my mind I had this plan that I wanted to check out the Bothy and have a lunch there, especially because it's quite chilly in the wind. But then it took so much longer than expected to actually get here, and I don't know, now I feel like it really is about time to, yeah, have some water, have some food. This is such a nice sight now to, yeah, just see the Bothy at the end of a sea loch in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of such a wild area. Oh wow, that's a real house. So interested to see if there's something about the history of this place. Wow.
The buildings here were once home to a shepherd's family. John Elliot and his wife Margaret raised their 5 sons here around the turn of the 20th century. When the boys reached school age, this small building, now the Bothy, was built as a home for their teacher. But life here wasn't untouched by the outside world, as it might seem today. A memorial nearby remembers 2 of the Elliot brothers, William and Alistair, who died in the First World War. The last residents left Glencoe in the 1950s, bringing an end to life in this once inhabited clan.
We are on our second climb for the day. This is Glencoe Bothy down there. And the scenery, wow, definitely one of the best scenery on trail. Similar to Neustadt, there's just something so special about it. Look at that, the sun's coming out, it's clearing up. Wow, this is incredibly beautiful. Wow. Otto is in a really good mood now that the path is a bit easier, a bit drier. This is the famous Cailescu bridge over there. You can see the sea in the far back. Wow, look at those colors, all those different layers and textures. This is so gorgeous. We're getting closer. The Bothy is just on the other side. This place is spectacular. Wow, and now with the sun out and the colors.
There's something really unique about Glendhu. The Bothy sits at the head of a 6-kilometer sea loch, tucked between steep hills that almost give it the feel of a fjord. You know the open coast isn't far away, but from here it feels like you're deep in the heart of the highlands, cut off from everyday life and almost in a different world.
We've made it! Oh, so happy. This is not the Bothy, but it's just behind there. Oh, so nice. Unbelievable place. Oh, look at that. This is Glendhu Bothy. Couple of rooms. One here. And then the main room here. Look at that. This is home for the night. It's already 7:30, but it has to be done. I really need a coffee. This has been quite a hard day, but I'm so happy that the sun came out now. I'm so happy that we've made it. I was quite anxious about this section. I heard quite a lot about it. Can't wait to have a coffee to finish the day, and then I think I'm going straight to dinner actually. But yeah, it's been a hard day, but a really nice day. The scenery is just unbelievably beautiful. Definitely in my top 3 sections of the Cape Wrath so far. As always, we're going to take a look on the map. This is where we started in Inchnadamph, the Explorer's Lodge, your hostel. And then you start climbing up to the Bilach, and that's a long, but yeah, it's a steady climb, and there's a good path. It's very visible. It's not too hard to navigate. A little bit of pathless section along this loch. On the sides of the path, it's pretty rough, so it's apart from maybe one spot at this loch, it's pretty hard to pitch a tent. So definitely keep that in mind. And then you're slowly going all the way up to the Bilach, and this upper part is very rocky, almost like, feels like an alpine
scenery landscape, and then you're going over the Bilach and down to the other side. There's a lot of zigzagging, but still on a pretty good path, quite steep in places, so it could be a bit slippery in wet conditions, but yeah, overall very doable. Only this last section, and it was really slow going because it's very steep and it's very muddy and boggy, so definitely go slow here. Definitely take care here because it's very slippery. You can fall over, slip very easily, and you're dropping down to the river. You're crossing the river. There's a very indistinct path on the other side. It looks quite level, but it's actually a lot of up and down, up and down, up and down. So this is very slow going. And then there is a bit of a path as you're rounding this headland, but it's very intermittent. Definitely keep in mind that this section from when you start dropping down to the river all the way, walking along the river, along the loch, that's very slow going. Very rough, very boggy in places, muddy. So this will take a lot longer than you would expect. Then you reach Glendhu, Bothy, which is a really nice place. It's so stunning. The location is just perfect. And then you start another climb. It's on a good 4x4 track and then a good path basically up to the highest point. And then on the other side there is still a path, but it's very boggy in places. It's quite close to the edge around here. It's a bit hit and miss in a couple of places, but for the most part it's a good path. Just before you cross over, there's a bridge here. There's again no real path, but you just follow the shoreline, and it's not too hard, especially if the tide is out. This is Glendhu, Bothy. Wow, the light is just so beautiful, so perfect. This is such a beautiful, such a magical place with the cuckoo over there in the trees. So peaceful. Good morning everyone. It's day 17 on the Garbh trail. We're really getting closer and closer. This is incredible. When we set off 3 weeks ago to the day, this was such a big unknown, and there were so many doubts if we would make it, and obviously we are not at the finish yet, but it slowly feels like we could actually make it. We had a really good night's sleep. It's still quite cold, the sun is out, which is nice, but it rained quite a bit last night, and there even were some snow flurries up on the tops. I think it's only about 3-4 degrees this morning. I'm really excited about today. It's our last day really in the mountains before we drop down to the sea, and then it's not that much elevation again. We're going to leave the mountains behind and heading towards the coast. If you want to make it to Garbh in 2 days, it's going to be a bit of a longer day again, probably around 23-25 kilometers. Depends a bit on where I can find somewhere to pitch. This is such an epic view. Incredible. Definitely one of my favorite sections of trail. It's really beautiful.
on our first and I think only real bigger climb for today, and we're still on a really good path. Definitely nice to have a bit quicker progress, because I think the second part of today will be very rough, boggy, pathless in sections. Look at that, a tiny fresh layer of snow, and it's almost the middle of May now.
Climbing this last Bilach of the Cape Wrath trail felt like a real milestone. Looking back, the mountains of Assynt stretched out behind us, a reminder of everything we'd crossed over the past few days. They had tested us with rough terrain, long days, and a few real low moments, but seeing them in the sunshine somehow made it all feel worth it.
Wow, this is a beautiful stretch again. Look at those views. Stunning. So impressed.
With this view behind us, it was impossible not to appreciate everything those mountains had given us over the last few days.
Little bit of snow, sleet left from last night. For this next section, I originally had planned to head up towards Bentrevi, which is somewhere up there. It's another, I think, 80 meters of climbing, so not too long. And then you're basically heading down and around Benstack down into the valley. But I don't know, I think I'm not going to do it today. I twisted my knee a bit. I slipped on a rock, on a wet rock, a couple of minutes ago. And from what I saw on the map, I think it's quite slow going, boggy, slippery. And there is an alternative that heads straight down into the valley. I just want to play it safe. I really want to get to Cape Wrath, and yeah, I thought I might just make my life and also Otto's life a bit easier on this stretch, at least for a little bit. Gorgeous view. All those colors, the green, the yellow, grey, blue. Now a bit of road walking, 3 miles or so, but it's only a single track road. And from what I saw from up on the hill, it's not too busy at all, so yeah, should be fine, hopefully. Wow, look at this view! Isn't this stunning? All those different layers. Oh, this is beautiful. This is Lochs, and we're done road walking. But as you can see, it's been really nice. Great views, not a lot of traffic at all. We had a really nice lunch break right by Lochs, and look at this view. This would be a really nice spot to wild camp too. But it's a bit too early for us. I think we're going to carry on, and there's one major river crossing that's left. I think that's the last big thing to complete on the Cape Wrath, and I want to get that river crossing done today and then pitch my tent after. But oh my gosh, the view is incredible. Wow, so beautiful, so rough. We're now entering our next pathless section for I think a couple of miles, and as you can see, this in really wet conditions can be very boggy, and there's literally no path whatsoever. Just going to eyeball it, but there should be a loch, a bigger loch in a little bit, and we have to walk along the shore of it, so hopefully a bit of a clear path will appear there. Hopefully. It's pretty rough now. I'm just so grateful that it's pretty dry, otherwise this would be incredibly hard. This is beautiful. I can almost see the sea. I can see a couple of houses in the hills down there. This is where we're heading. Not all of that today, but tomorrow morning. Not too long until this bigger river crossing, and then after that I think we've completed over 20 kilometers. So I think after the crossing, from what I saw on the map, there should be a couple of spots to pitch a tent, because as you can see that here it's pretty rough, pretty hard, or even impossible to pitch a tent. This is the river crossing, and it looks really doable. Oh, so I'm so happy. I don't know how deep it is yet, but as you can see, there definitely are a lot of stones out. So yeah, shouldn't be too hard, hopefully. I think I might go a bit higher, but as you can see, this is really a substantial stream, so this would be very hard, if not impossible, to cross if it's in spade. Oh wow, he even managed this on his own, but he was just a bit over ankle deep with the stepping stones, so not too bad, luckily. Ah, this is the perfect spot, look at that. Oh wow, yes, that's what I'm going for. I've decided to change my spot for something a bit more level. This is actually the perfect spot, I think. First things first, Otto gets his treat. Quite warm in the sun now, so I think I'm just going to go for a quick little dip. It was freezing cold, but it feels so good. Woo. Such a perfect day, afternoon now. I feel so fresh now after a quick dip. I have my warm clothes on. It's almost 6 p.m. already, so it's been another, quite a long day. But Otto had his treat, and now I'm going to make a coffee, and I just can't wait. I'm so happy, and obviously I'm also more and more excited the closer we get to the Cape, because yeah, as I said already, it's been such a big unknown, but now being so close, tomorrow is going to be probably a very wet day, but an easier day when it comes to the terrain. And then there's only 8 miles or so after tomorrow to go to Cape Wrath, which is just unbelievable. It feels so close now. It's just, yeah, it's just great. I'm so happy. I'm going to enjoy my coffee, have some treats. This is dinner tonight, a big pot of couscous with dehydrated bell pepper, broccoli and dehydrated jackfruit. And I'm going to add a bit of oil. This is such a nice spot. I can even hear a cuckoo somewhere on the other side of the loch. And to finish this day, I'm going to show you the map again. This is where we started this morning in Glendhu, Bothy, and then it's a good 4x4 track along the shore. Yeah, not a lot of elevation. And then there are 2 options. There's the option to walk to Kylstrom and then Kylesco, but I think that's only needed if you need accommodation or yeah, need to go to the hotel. What I did is I walked up here, started climbing up, which was a very beautiful stretch. Great views along the loch to the hills on the other side. And then you continue walking up to some sort of, yeah, saddle almost. And then from here there are 2 options. The main route is to go up to Bentreevy, and then there's, as you can see, quite a bit, I think 3 miles or so of pathless boggy terrain going all the way down to Loch Stack. What I did instead, I followed this 4x4 track down to the road, and then I actually walked along this road to Loch Stack Lodge. It was easy walking, great views, wasn't a lot of traffic. And then right here was the building where I had my lunch break. That would make a very nice spot to wild camp with great views. But it was a bit too early for us, so we carried on. There actually weren't any spots along here. The terrain is pretty rough, just heather and bog on both sides. So yeah, almost impossible, I would say, to find a good spot to pitch. There's one spot here on this loch on the left side, but I didn't check it out how boggy. It looked grassy, but obviously that can also be a bit boggy, a bit wet. But there might be just one spot right here. But all that was a good 4x4 track. And then there's another mile or so of really pathless and very, in wet conditions, very boggy terrain. There really was no path that I could see from other people. I think everyone just makes their own route. And then once you reach the loch, there's a bit of a path. It's a bit intermittent, but for the most part you can see some sort of path. It's quite eroded in places and it's slow progress, but yeah, there's a bit of a path. And again, all along here, it's, yeah, didn't see any spots to wild camp. It's very steep on the side. It's very, yeah, just overgrown with heather and very boggy. And then this is the river crossing that we did in the end. That can be very hard and even impossible to cross, but it was okay for us. And now we basically pitched on the other side just after the crossing, heading north, and this is basically the only really good spot that I saw on this entire stretch, basically since Loch Stack Lodge. It's going to be another really cold night. The sun is just about to set. It's almost 9:30 and it's really nice how long the days in the far north are already. I'm having a tea to warm up and then we're going to bed. This is it for today. Day 17 on the Cape Wrath is done. It's just incredible that we've come this far. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night.